to it.
Welcome to Red Zone Sports. I love the countdown. For those of you that are watching the YouTube channel, Vinnie updated the intro with a little countdown action. I feel better. I'm not as surprised after the intro just ended abruptly before, and I was like, oh, we're live.
Yeah.
Which now I actually know that when we're live. That felt good.
It's not quite as great as the voiceover, but it's all right.
It's better. Hopefully the juice responds to Jimmy and we get a better intro here in coming days.
We have some things in the works. Okay,
we're just cooking. Okay.
We got some DMs out there to we're prospecting people for a little intro.
Lunch pail guys.
Putting the real life work skills to work in the fantasy realm. So there you go.
Like who would be the coolest person to intro our show? Would it be just like Samuel Jackson, just like Red Zone, motherfucker?
Drop it in the chat. We're looking for ideas. Drop it in the comments on the video.
At celebrities to pay.
If there's a good one, if there's like a good person on Cameo or something like that, drop it in the comments of this video. And if it's something that we like and we go with your idea, I'll hit you up and I'll do something for you.
Maybe we'll try to get a little like Jeremy Piven to do Ari voice or something like that. Exploding.
I mean, look, anything could be on the table. Drop it in a comment. You know, who should we get to do a voiceover? Because we're looking right now. And
if we're going
for some
Entourage,
reason, if you happen to know somebody famous who will do it, even if it's just like a D, F-list celebrity, that might even be better.
Yeah, if it's like the fourth Baldwin, send them on over. Or if you happen to have a cool voice, feel free to drop us a little test module. We'll see. Let's get some clips going.
Hit us up on Twitter at JJ McIntosh, at Joey Props,
with the Z.
Notorious VJL. If you have a video, if you do have a cool voice, we could make you the next EA Sports guy. Who knows?
Yep.
It's true.
Yep.
You just don't know. You might as well throw it out there. If you feel like you got that radio voice, go for it. So guys, week one, I mean, I didn't hit huge, but I hit. I had a positive leverage day. It felt good to start off the season winning.
It was nice. Lost $5 total. So in the grand scheme of things, not bad. Got everything right except for my value running backs, but it's okay. Still had a good week. The Sunday night and Monday night showdown slates were not great based on how fucking weird they were. But that's okay. I think we got another fun showdown slate coming tomorrow night. Who knows what the fuck's going to happen, but that's one of the funnest parts about playing showdown.
That's right.
Yeah, it is a Wild West in showdown mode. Vinny, how'd you end up last week? I don't know. I forgot.
I think I finished down a little bit. Similar to Jim, I had quite a bit of Tyreek. I just couldn't put it all together. Like I had a lot of Debo mixed with him, so the wrong Niner receiver or some of my pay down receiver options just in those good lineups didn't hit. And the ones that I had, Nakua and those guys were in the non-Tyreek lineups. So I min cashed quite a bit, but it was just short of obviously having just that one or two prime lineups. So, but I think a lot of the plays were pretty solid outside of Seattle. So I'll eat that well.
Beautiful. All right. For once, guys, I was the most winningest person on the podcast. I went up like $30. It was a big day. And then I lost it immediately in the showdown on Sunday night. So
there we go.
Hey, good thing I only played 30 though. And we're back to even. So
there we go.
Even's good. Let's get to quarterbacks. High, mid, low. What do you guys like? Jim, start you off.
I mean, I'm going right back to the guy who, people are calling him Jay Cutler. People are just the week one overreactions this year have been tremendously insane. Just wild. So look, I'm going back to Josh Allen playing at home versus the Raiders. I know that Joey is convinced that they're going to play a quote-unquote grindy game. I think it's just one of those games, and I don't even think this will be a reflection of the Raiders. If they just so happen to be playing the Raiders, I think they're going to fucking throttle whoever it was, right? If it was any other like mid-pack team, if it was, Jacksonville, if it was Indianapolis, if it was Detroit, I don't care who's coming in there. I think that they're going to fucking throttle whoever comes in there this week. based on the ownership I'm looking at, his optimal rate is way over his projected ownership. So he's got a really nice positive leverage up there at the top. I like the stack options. He just clued into Stephon Diggs. So if you just want to stack him and Diggs and just kind of move on, you can do that. I like the run back options on the Vegas side. Josh Allen's my guy if we're going above 7,000 this week.
All right, Vin.
Yeah, I love Josh Allen too. I'm going down, and I'm going to play another guy who was on the losing end last week, who I think is in a pretty good matchup here, and that's Justin Herbert at 7K. He's going to be right around that price tag and getting a quarter of the ownership that we're going to see going to Lawrence. Eckler is questionable. I looked at his numbers without Austin Eckler, and he throws for over 300 quite often without him. And this is a defense, the Titans, who are a pass funnel defense, and they just gave up 300 plus yards to Derek Carr in week 1. So
Joey's guy.
Yeah, Joey's guy. So I think
him and Matt Collins, just put them together on the fucking Mount Rushmore.
So I think Kellen Moore is going to have a very pass happy type situation here. And obviously love his stacking options as always. And Eckler out of the way obviously doesn't make the offense better, but it simplifies your stacking options, So I like Justin Herbert there quite a bit.
Nice. Yeah, no, those are all good plays. And then everyone else at the top, we got Patrick Mahomes, in my opinion, is just until his receivers can prove they can catch the ball or Kelsey is fully healthy, it's just 8,300 is pretty steep. You need a 33-point plus game, 34-point plus game from Patrick Mahomes here. And it's like, yeah, this game could shoot out, but his receivers might also drop every important, pass in the game.
So Kelsey is, I think he is going to play. He warmed up last week and was dressed and then shut down before the game. So I look for him to play. This is kind of a must win for the Chiefs. I actually don't mind Mahomes a whole lot if you're going to go up this week. I'd rather pay 8,300 for Mahomes than 7,700 for that loser Lamar Jackson. So
the one thing that you always
definitely agree there.
The one thing you always talk about though, Jim, is I feel like I can just play Kelsey and get so much of that Mahomes exposure, right? For that price tag when you go down.
But I think this week, especially though, because Mahomes had such a bad game, I am going to be playing some just Mahomes and Kelsey lineups with like a Ridley run back because he does have a ceiling of 40 points. Sure. His projected 75% is still 32 points. Mm-hmm. So he doesn't even have to have a ceiling game for him to hit like a good value for us this week. And we saw Anthony Richardson move the ball on this Jags defense. So let's pump the brakes on, how good the Jags defense is. So I think that's interesting. So are you going with Mahomes, Joe, or are you going somewhere else above?
No, I'm just reviewing these guys that we missed here really quickly and then moving on down to the 6K range. So Mahomes, you like him. I just think he's a little too pricey, and there's just a lot of things. The Chiefs, they're going to end up being one of the best teams in the league. We all know that. It's just who are they in the first 4 weeks? They could easily go 2-2 to start this season and then rattle off 13 wins the rest of the year, right? So I'm just not there yet. I just want to see it more. The offense just looked very, very shaky to me. Those receivers, I don't trust them. Lamar Jackson, I feel like I just want one of him because I feel like this is going to be a very competitive game. Him and Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers looks very good. So it's
I'll get on board with that.
Yeah. So I'm not having heavy exposure to it, but if this game does get really competitive and starts rolling up a little bit, that's the kind of guy you want.
The one selling point to Lamar is with Dobbins gone. Their running game just is decimated, right?
No, exactly.
They're going to Gus Edwards the bus for the 9th straight year to average 2.5 yards a carry. You know what I mean?
The Ravens just play those kind of offenses where that is a grindy offense, right? They can have a game. They're going to win games 17-13 consistently. You know what I mean? So that's just what they play. Then you got Justin Fields, 7,600. That is just way too expensive for me until he can prove he can throw the ball. But
did you guys watch that quarterback breakdown I sent you?
Yes.
Holy crap.
Until he can throw the ball. But he did say, I won't be so conservative this week. I'm going to be more aggressive, which probably means he's just going to tuck it and run a lot.
Look,
so
I have
could
him
be a
as
big
one of
fantasy game from this guy.
I have him as one of my just absolute dart throws. He's coming in at 2% ownership. he has over 100 yards rushing upside, right?
I think
he still had 17 points last week, right? I mean, I know that's not enough, not even close, but like he played a shit game and he still had 17 fantasy points.
And he didn't really run a lot.
No.
So
I think if you're gonna play Fields, you have to play DJ Moore this week with him.
You have
totally.
I'm sorry.
You play more.
I feel like he's going to take shots deep to Moore and he's going to run the ball, and that's the story that you have to tell yourself for that pairing.
I agree.
Yep.
So moving down to the 6K range, you guys know I was huge on Joe Burrow last week. Hey, I'll just brush that one right off my shoulder.
What do you
had the worst game of his career. I mean, it is what it is. He plays terrible against the Browns. I'll remember that next time. A team he doesn't play terrible against is the Baltimore Ravens. This is a team that he tends to run it up a little bit in very high competitive games. I'm going right back to the well. Give me more Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins combos. Like I gotta dive right back in. I'm not running away.
I like it.
I like it too. I have missed one of my dart throws as well.
Vinny, who you got in the 6K range and is your number one guy out of this range?
I mean, I really like Lawrence here. You just have to be very contrarian with the rest of your build, right? I'm seeing like 20% he's going to get this week.
What?
That makes me pretty nervous. Mm-hmm.
I have 7% right now.
Hey, okay. What happened to this ownership thing we talked about last week?
Yeah, the quarterbacks. There's no chance that Trevor Lawrence is going to be 20% out.
Okay.
No chance.
All right.
I can see him in the 14 range, but still, doesn't matter. We need our guys. Ownership or not.
Yeah, play your guys.
Yeah.
If Lawrence is your guy, then, I mean, honestly, if you break down the Millie Maker lineup from last week, I mean, there was a lot of chalky guys in it. So, like, don't really worry about it. He didn't chop it with anybody. Yeah, so even and we don't play those tournaments even really. So if you want to play Lawrence, then go all in, play Lawrence. I think you're fine there.
Yeah. The guy that I have a lot of interest in, and I'm a little hesitant because I'm fearing that it's chasing a little bit, but I liked what I saw from Anthony Richardson. And now he goes to Houston. And I like these games that are like tight spreads. I know the point total is not great, but like this could be kind of an ugly shootout that we always talk about, like two teams that just are not super talented. I love the fact that Pittman was just like a target monster in this game. And
that was nice.
And Josh Downs had 7 targets. Like, it's very clear where he's going. If he can get to the 100-yard bonus rushing with his legs, and if Houston can show any signs of life on offense, this could be a pretty sneaky spot.
I really like it. I like pairing him with Downs. I had Downs last week. He only got me 6 points because he only caught like 3 of those balls. But one of those catches, I mean, he looked electric. It was a little slant over the middle, and he took it up like 18 yards. Those are the kind of plays Downs is going to get. He's going to take it 80 plus.
It might be a bumpy road, but they're explosive. And I think it's the same exact situation with the Bears, with Fields and DJ Moore. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be kind of rocky, but like, you can see some explosions out of him based on one game, obviously. So
it's a good call.
Yeah.
Jim, where are you going here?
It's not going to be a popular play, but it's going to be my play. Danny Silver Dollars, baby. We're going to be picking up all the dimes he dropped all over the place. We're going to put them together. I mean, look, you can play him by himself, or you can just play him with Saquon. Or if you want to, you can stack him with Waller. No one is going to be doing any of the above in a game where this, for me, is really more about the coach. Mm-hmm. I think Brian Daboll is one of the best coaches in the NFL, and he kind of proved it last year, making water out of wine or wine out of water with this really not very good Giants team. Arizona has no pass rush. That was the biggest issue last week versus Dallas. Arizona is not very good, but their offense is good enough where they can move the ball a little bit, and this can be kind of a game where you just can't just run the ball 10,000 times. Now, I think that they are going to get Saquon pretty involved, but at $6,000 for a guy who's going to run around a little bit, I have no idea who he's going to throw the ball to, but if you really want to get wild and try and pick one of those guys, I think my favorite would be like Slayton. Then Daniel Jones is getting my click at $6,000.
I think you also look at it. You look at it too, Jim. Like, not to like go crazy on this one. That game was just so weird and such a buzzsaw from the beginning. Like, Dallas came out with like a defensive touchdown, and then it was pouring rain in Dallas, so they had to throw in the rain to catch up. and Dallas could just pin their ears back. Like they would just ran into a buzzsaw. Like I don't know what else to say. I'm not taking too much of it. You know what I mean?
That was literally
every season
an outlier game.
There's an outlier game in every single season. They just happen to have theirs in week 1. And it's getting polarized and everyone's thinking negative. So, Jim, I'm with you. But right here in this range is my favorite quarterback, and Jared Goff. This Detroit Lions offense, it impresses me every time I watch it. Jared Goff I'm not saying he's this world beater, but he's a guy that he's on pace to break the record for most games in a row without throwing an interception. It's insane. I like Amon-Ra St. Brown. I even like guys like Craig Reynolds. These guys looked good. And then Josh Reynolds, sorry. And then you compare him with guys like Jahmyr Gibbs, which Jahmyr Gibbs looked electric. Anytime he had the ball, it was like, oh shit, this guy belongs here. And then some. So he gives Jared Goff that outlet to dump it off and just get more yards. They are only running little ISOs with Montgomery. Montgomery's not going to break one for a touchdown anytime soon. I think Jared Goff is going to throw a lot of TDs. He's my favorite quarterback of the week. 6,200 is just a bargain.
All right. Moving down into the fives. Vin, you got anybody below 5,900 and below that just really capturing your heart this week to play?
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely going to be playing a lot of Purdy. I think the one challenge I have in this zone is, in my opinion, the biggest fear of this slate for me is if that Jacksonville game gets rocking or some of these things get going, like Burrow in them, I think you might need 25 plus points out of the quarterback position to stay with the field. But I think Purdy's the guy who can do that. He was on pace for 30 last week against Pittsburgh. And then they throttled down at halftime.
So it's a division game. Mm-hmm. We're on the road. The Rams obviously know what they need. They know that they game plan very well, just like they game plan that game in Seattle last week very well. They have good coaches, right? Say what you want about the players. They have a very, very good coaching staff. So they know how to game plan for a team. They are not going – if anybody remembers last year, this was Christian McCaffrey's first game, I believe. He ran for a touchdown, he threw for a touchdown, and he caught a touchdown. It was just shove it straight up the Rams' ass because they were trying to trade for him too. They're not going to let the running game beat them this week. Brock Purdy is going to have to come out and throw the ball a little bit. He's got that little extra – he doesn't run a bunch, right? But he rushed for 21 yards last week, right, which is not bad. Down around the goal line, if he can run one in, throw a couple in, I think it's feasible that he can hit ceiling, which for him is projected at about 30 points in this game. The stacking options are going to be a little bit weird, but I like Debo. I think Kittle might have a nice game. Their secondary is not good, right? So the middle of the field, again, we saw it with Ayuk last week. I think the middle of the field, the deep middle there with Kittle is going to be available this week. So I'm with you, Vin. I think that's a pretty decent play. I've got one more guy down here that I don't understand why he's so cheap in Jordan Love. Why is Jordan Love $5,500?
Mm-hmm. I had him.
Did we just did the algorithm break? I mean, he's cheaper than Brock Purdy, and he had almost 30 points last week.
Another guy I love because he's got a very clear path to who he's throwing to. If Aaron Jones is out, especially, they're going to need him. My only fear on this one was, is Atlanta just going to slow this down so freaking much that, the possessions and the opportunity?
They're going to try to, but Green Bay's got a pretty good defense. So I think that, again,
so. Mm-hmm.
Everyone saw what Atlanta put on tape last week. And what they put on tape was, I think, is a big detriment to them is we're scared as fuck for our quarterback to throw more than 20 passes. So we're just going to try and run the ball as much as possible.
Yep.
Teams are going to try and overcompensate for that and say, all right, fine. We're going to make you throw the ball by just overloading the box. So I think it's one of those, I think it's a sneaky game on the slate that could kind of pop off a little bit. And I like a lot of the pieces. I don't know if I'm going to do a full game stack on this game, but I like a lot of the pieces. I'm going to be plugging into other lineups as one-offs, as guys that could really go for it. Joe, do you have anybody else down here? Your guy?
No, I'm out.
All right.
On to running back. Up top,
yeah,
we have Christian McCaffrey, 8,900. Are you guys in or are you out on McCaffrey this week?
I think you have to keep playing him, man. Like, even
no,
in a
because
blowout,
he's gonna be 10K, 11K by midseason.
dude. Even
I
in a
agree.
blowout, they had him out there still touching the ball in like the middle of the fourth quarter. Like, Kyle is not going to go off of this guy. He is going to ride him, hopefully, all the way to a Super Bowl. Like,
yep,
I agree.
No, he's going to be 10K. He's going to be upwards of 11K at a certain point in this season. At 8,900, that is just, again, it's a bargain.
I know he broke off that long touchdown, but he only got 3 balls. Like, there's going to be games where he catches like 8 or 9 balls.
This is one of them. You know? This is one of them. He is going to have, I think this week, if you want to play Purdy, I say stack him with McCaffrey and pick your receiver, because I think McCaffrey's going to have 6 to 7 targets, and I think he's probably going to – he doesn't drop a whole lot of balls. So if he gets 7 targets, I'll say 5 catches for like 65 yards and a touchdown.
And then, insane.
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to play him. I'm kind of bummed that Eckler's hurt, because I think this would be a really good spot for Eckler. I hope that he plays.
Well, he's also out for personal reasons on top of the ankle injury. So it's just a very interesting situation to pay attention to.
I'm just off of him. Tennessee always shuts, not they're going to shut Eckler down, but they do a good job against the run. Like, it's a Mike Vrabel defense. I'm just not really into Eckler this week. If I'm paying up, I'm going McCaffrey there.
All right, so let's go Saquon to ETN, 8,000 to 69,000.
Bijan mustard, baby. You're going to hear it all year, because 7,100 is too cheap for this man. He did not get the carries that we liked in Algiers. I mean, Algiers put up, 27 points, and Bijan put up, 22, 23. This is a team where we love it. You can put both of them in these same lineups if you wanted to. Watching Bijan, though, he lined up in the slot a lot of the game, and they want to give him the ball in space and let him make moves. If you watch that touchdown play, it was interesting. Those like stat metric things that said when he caught the ball, he had an 11% chance of scoring, and he took it through because he was just able to juke that many people. And it's like, wow, this dude is that talented. And they're like, we got a running back to pound the ball between the tackles, so we don't have to do that with him right now. So he's just electric, and I think he can be one of those dudes that gets us 3 touchdown type of game. Easy.
I'm with you. He's my guy in here as well. They're just like Jahmyr Gibbs. He's a rookie, right? They're not just going to throw him to the Wolves week 1. They're going to kind of ease him into the game plan a little bit. But look, if anybody out there thinks that they can play Tyler Algier every week and get 25 plus points, you're dreaming. You want to talk about an outlier? I would not be surprised if Tyler Algier never topped his week 1 performance this year. Again, I don't think that he has another 25 plus performance in him. He vultured one of the touchdowns. Yeah, he's going to run the ball. I said it from the very beginning. I think that Algier is going to be one of those guys that runs the ball a lot from 20-yard line to 20-yard line, and then they're going to use Bijan right as they get inside the red zone, or like 30 in a lot in the passing game. So I'm going to be loading up on Bijan this week. I think it's one of those, like, he in the next few weeks here, he's going to have one of those spike weeks, and I don't want to miss it. And I think that in a negative game script, like it could be one this week, where Ritter might just be dinking and dunking to him several times. I'm with you, Joe. Bijan's my guy this week.
I do want to mention that in best ball leagues, in all my Bijan lineups, I got Algiers as like the last pick in every single league. And both of them made it into my starting lineups in like 5 different leagues. I was not expecting that, but it was nice.
With what you guys said too. I think Bijan's just so special that like his workload's going to only increase. You know what I mean? Like 100%. I would have been shocked if they came out and gave him 18, 20 carries. Like they just weren't going to do that. But that's going to go up.
But that's the thing, though. Even though he wasn't getting the ball every play, he was still on the field damn near every play.
Yeah.
Right? He was just lining up from different positions, decoy. There was a lot of times he just motioned and jogged out towards the sideline, right? Just to get the linebacker out of there. So he's on the field all the time.
Then who you got in this section here, 8,000 and 6,900? You got anybody else that you are particularly enthralled with, or are you going down?
Yeah, I'm gonna take some shots on Derrick Henry this week. I think the Titans saw Tannehill throw 3 picks and basically give that game away, and I wouldn't be shocked.
No, I think Vrabel grabbed the offensive coordinator by the throat, and he was like, "If you stop giving Derrick Henry ball the second half again, I will fucking kill you."
I wouldn't be shocked. It's going to be a lot easier of a box going against the Chargers than the Saints. Like, I could see him getting 30 touches this week. But Josh Jacobs is my favorite in this area. He had a disappointing week 1. If this game is up and going, it's a similar situation. Like, he can get, 5, 7, 8 targets in the passing game. I got to imagine Buffalo's going to do everything they can to stop Devontae Adams. Like, I think there's going to be some running. I mean, we saw Breece Hall break off 70-plus yard runs. Like, Jacobs has an opportunity to have a pretty good game here. And I think that's got to be the Raiders' game plan, right? Like,
and
they know what they're walking
rotating
into.
Their backs. They're not rotating their running backs, right? Zamir White got a couple carries, and that's normal, right? They want Josh Jacobs to get the ball 98% of the time.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. He had 19 rushes and 3 targets in the passing game. That's going to be stable.
They know he's not going to be a Raider next year. Josh Jacobs is getting 400 carries this season.
Totally. So if I'm going above 7, those are kind of my guys.
I like it, Vin. I really like ETN to start off the 6Ks. I mean, he just has the ability like a Bijan, right? He can run the ball, he can catch the ball. He's kind of got it all, and this game could explode. So this game's been very competitive, I think. I think the Chiefs do pull it out, but I do think this is a game where there's at least 8 touchdowns in this game, and ETN can get 2 of them.
All right. Going on down here. I'll go back in games where I'm not gonna stack Josh Allen, or maybe I will. I'll go back to James Cook at 6,100. I mean, I really love the usage that he was getting. There was this weird narrative that, Damian Harris is going to take all his carries and blah, 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 blah. And if anything, in late in the game, they had Latavius Murray in the game. So again, I don't know if we can really bank on week 1, besides that James Cook really did play the majority of the snaps. He's active in the passing game.
And he looked good.
He looked good. Quick, fast. Again, the Raiders, I think that's a tough part. They have improved their defense. I watched the game. But I think that mid area, their corners and one of their left side linebacker just don't tackle very well. It's the little fast guys out in space. I think he can have a pretty nice game, because I think that the Raiders are going to try and game plan to take away Diggs as much as possible. So I think that, I really do like Cook in this game. James, that is. I'll go ahead and pass on Dalvin at 6,000 versus Dallas. Anybody else?
Good call. Jameer Gibbs.
Anything? Jameer Gibbs,
and almost all my Detroit stacks just said Jameer Gibbs. He looked really good.
Okay. Right. Yeah, I mean, he only played 27% of the snaps. You have to imagine that's going to go up. Similar to Breece Hall, who everyone thought wasn't going to play, but I mean, I think that just by looking at how explosive a guy like Gibbs and a guy like Hall are, the coaches are just going to go back and watch the film and be like, all right, we thought we knew what we had with this guy, but now it's on tape in an actual game. We're going to have to play this guy more. He's just demanding extra snaps.
And Montgomery's good for his role, right? Run between the tackles and all that. But you're going to see Montgomery get less carries, and you're going to see Gibbs get a lot more every single week.
There's a case to be made to play Montgomery this week. It's going to be difficult because he's very dependent on getting that touchdown, right? Last week, he had 22 carries for 75 yards and a touchdown, and it looks really good. 22 carries for 75 yards and no touchdown doesn't look nearly as good, right? So as to where Gibbs, he's going to get it done in the passing game. He has that ability to break that home run like you're talking about, Joe. I think that Gibbs is a nice pick.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
all right.
Vinny.
The 5K range.
5K.
Yeah. I mean,
Dirty Dogs.
I'm going to keep playing Kenneth Walker. He's just too good. I get it. Seattle, I don't know what they were doing last week, but Detroit's strength is obviously rushing the passer. I do not think again, a Pete Carroll team wants to come out and throw the ball 55 times and shoot out. It may get there. I hope it does. But we saw last year, this game, I think Walker went off, or one of the running back for Seattle at the time went bananas, and so did Jamal Williams for them. So they can shoot out, and he can still have a pretty good game here. 5,800 is just too cheap. He dominated the backfield touches. Again, they didn't run the ball a ton, but 5,800, you're getting the main guy in this game. I'll take that all day.
All right, it's not for me personally. I just think the Seahawks are just not very good. I'd be more interested in maybe playing one of the wide receivers, but it's the case is there. Joe, what about you? Anybody down in this mid-5 range?
Nothing that's shooting off the page. All these guys, I might have a little, if I get desperate, in my price range, or I got to go really low at running back somewhere, Gus the Bus is interesting because he has that touchdown potential done at 5,300. I know Hill got the goal line snaps last week, and this is just what John Harbaugh does. Everyone's going to go to Hill, and he's going to play Gus on the goal line this week. Right, they just switch it up all the time. So I can see Gus sneaking it in there, but I'm not going out of my way to pick this dude or even go this low at running back. I like the 6K range.
Yeah, I'm going to make it a priority to go back and get some more Rachaad White.
Yeah, totally.
I think the game script is going to be good. He was talk about a guy who didn't put up a lot of points, but was on the field the whole time. He was on the field the whole time. I think he played 92% of the snaps. Even when Sean Tucker was on the field, they lined him up in the slot. He's like the Bijan light, right? Nowhere near the same athleticism, but they're using him in a similar fashion. At 5,500, I'm more than happy to go back and take that gamble to see if I can get that kind of in there, right? So Rachaad White is going to be, I think, probably the lowest I'm going to go this week. I've got really nobody else below that unless one of you guys do, Ben.
The only guy that's right in that range that I may take some shots on just to get really different and weird is if that game gets super chalky is Isaiah Pacheco. It's just a way to get exposure to that game. He played, I think, 51 or 52% of the snaps in that backfield, caught 3 or 4 balls. That's a guy you see it every time, right? we're going to stack the passing game, and Pacheco punches 2 in and steals.
Pacheco's a great,
points, you know what I mean?
Great call. I was one of those dudes. I have a lot of Pacheco in year-long best ball. I had him last week, and he kind of disappointed. And what was really disappointing was Clyde Edwards-Helaire getting the start, which not one person in the fucking planet.
Yeah, that was weird.
It was what?
Again, football fans, we got very short-term memories here. I think a lot of people are just no, they're splitting with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I'm not playing that dude. It's no, Pacheco's still their number 1 back.
Yeah,
Clyde Edwards-Helaire probably brought Andy Reid a Eskimo pie or something, and that's why he got the first snap of the game.
I love it. That's all I got, though.
All right, on to receivers.
Eskimo pie.
I really love Jamar Chase this week. I just have this feeling Burrow and Chase this whole week are just fuck these motherfuckers. We're going for it. I feel like they're gonna hit and they're gonna connect on at least 2 touchdowns this week and some big plays.
Did you guys see earlier? The Ravens may be without 6, 7 starters this game from last week.
Oh yeah,
they were decimated, and 2 of those guys are in their defensive backfield. So
Marlon Humphrey's not even playing in the first place. He's not even part of that.
And their starting safety just got hurt last week, and they said he's going to be out a while. So that's 2 DBs out. Then yeah, dude, I think you go right back to the well with that one.
You have to. You play these guys and they shit the bed that bad. They're that good. You just got to go back. You have to.
Yeah.
I agree.
And Amon-Ra St. Brown, love him. I just love him and third down and Goff. They're fun to watch. So I like playing a lot of them.
Cool.
I'm in on both of those guys. Vinny, who do you like? Let's say above 7,000.
I really like Ridley again. He's just obviously the number 1 in that offense, very clearly. In a game which we think might pop off, hell yeah, I'll be playing him. And then I like Keenan Allen. I just talked about how I like the stack of the Chargers here. He had 9 targets in the first game, 76 yards. He wasn't able to punch anything in, but I think he's got such a high floor, and he does have massive upside if things get rocking and rolling. So I like Keenan Allen up here.
All right. Jimbo Rooney.
I think that I'm going to take a shot on DK Metcalf this week.
Totally.
I think it's going to be a game that's going to shoot out. I'm with Joey. I like Jared Goff quite a bit. I like Amon-Ra St. Brown. My run back, I'm going to be playing a couple of those stacks. So I'll run DK back in a couple, and I think Lockett back in one of them. But I just think DK has one of those. Was pretty quiet last week. Lockett, got examined for a concussion mid-game. I just think it's one of those games where, Seattle has one of their tackles banged up. I think they're going to throw the ball a little bit. So DK is a guy I kind of like from there. I really, really like Ridley. I think Ridley is kind of like under the McCaffrey mode. He's not going to be in the low sevens for long. He's going to be up close to Chase. They're just giving him that kind of volume. So while he's 7,200 in a game where I think it's going to be, like we said, a little bit of a shootout, that's the guy that I am looking for right now. Down below DK, so the sixes. Anybody who's your favorite guy?
Well, we got Death, Taxes, and Mike Evans. That guy just scores touchdowns. It's insane.
I mean, that's part of the reason why I liked Baker last week, is because it's just you can either play him with Evans or Godwin or both, and then that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And they're all fine plays. You can get cheap there. You go up at running back. You can go get Chase. You can go get these high-end players. I think a Mike Evans, Baker Mayfield staff is fantastic this week.
Yeah. I like that.
Go right back to it.
I like a few guys. I mean, Joe, you talked about Chase. Same reason I like T. Higgins. He had 8 targets with 0 catches last week. That's not going to happen again. A guy who's looking to get paid just like Evans. I think he's going to show out here pretty quickly. You talked about one of the players, I forget, Jim, but I think it was Bijan. He's going to have a massive explosion game here soon. I just don't know when it is. So I'm getting shares of T. Higgins. But if I'm playing Anthony Richardson, Michael Pittman's got to be the favorite there. Guy had so many targets. So Pittman at 6,300 is a steal.
Yep.
All right. I hope that Christian Watson plays this week because I would like to play him. Didn't practice Wednesday.
Again.
Yeah. So
Dude,
maybe not. But are you guys ready for a Gabe week? Because here it is.
I knew you were going to say
First home game. They missed 2 bombs to him in the weird Monday night game. The Raiders are going to give up a couple of deep ones. One of them is going to be to Gabe because they're going to be rolling coverage over to Diggs after Josh Allen just peppered the shit out of Diggs the other night. Gabe Davis, 5,800. He's going to be my bold call of the week, and that's the guy that I'm rolling with. No one's going to play him. You're going to get him very, very low owned. All of the ownership is going to Brandon Ayuk, which I love Brandon Ayuk, but at 3%, Gabe Davis, sign me up.
Totally. The ultimate GPP player.
Mm-hmm.
When you hit it, he can win you tournaments, but very often he's not going to score more than 5 points, but that's okay. That's the perfect tournament play.
I don't enter GPP tournaments to min cash or to finish 144th and win $40. I'm trying to win the tournament. Totally. That's why we're playing guys like Jahmyr Gibbs. That's why we're playing guys like Gabe Davis. That's why we're playing guys like Danny Dimes. They could give you fucking 2 points or they could give you 30. It's why I'm going after him this week. I love Brandon, but his ownership is starting to creep up to the point where I can only play him in full Niner stacks.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to have a good game this week again. So fuck, what do I do?
I think the answer is Deebo Samuel.
Oh yeah,
I think
just go
Deebo versus the Rams, right? This is just don't overthink it. Where the Bengals can't play well against the Browns. There's something in the air that just does not let them. It's like the Monstars steal their talent before those games. Yeah. Deebo versus the Rams is always a lock.
It's because Aaron Donald personally attacked him his rookie year, and he's never let it go.
Yeah,
he makes it a point. It's pretty crazy. So he's my one-off. He's my one-off from that Niners game when I'm playing other lineups. I'll just play Deebo. And then just right below him, we talked about it earlier, DJ Moore. I think at 5,500, he's the number one receiver on that team. They're talking about Chase Claypool being inactive this week.
Well,
they've got guys like Dante Pettis. They've got, Equinemius St. Brown. I mean,
he's the guy.
They don't have anybody. So like they're gonna have to force feed him the ball. He didn't have a target until like 4 minutes into the second quarter on Sunday. Yeah. They're gonna look at that and they're gonna correct that, I believe. So at 5,500, I think that is a steal. The Vikings should have scored a lot more points than they did against the Bucs defense. It's a pass funnel, and that's how you're gonna have any chance against the Bucs. It might be one of those weird weeks where DJ Moore gets like 10 targets, right? I think it's just kind of going to go squeaky wheel here. Anybody going below here? I know there's one guy we talked about earlier at 5,000 that we all like.
So, no, at 5,100, I want to get your guys' take on this because I went probably a little too heavy on him last week, was Christian Kirk. 5,100.
Yeah. So we talked about it, me and Jim earlier.
Ridley is the guy.
So not only is Ridley the guy, they're playing a significant amount more of 12 personnel. So only 2 wide receivers and 2 tight ends.
Well, no wonder they fucking lost last week.
And he is strictly playing in the slot. When they go to 2 wide receiver sets, Zay Jones and Calvin Ridley are the 2 wide receivers. And mainly it's because Christian Kirk is not a great run blocker. Okay. But he's playing in 3 wide receiver sets. So if they're going to run more 3 wide receiver sets, he's one of those guys that could do well, right? Like if the Chiefs start throttling their ass, this is definitely a good play because no one's going to fucking play him. Yeah. Right. But I mean, that's kind of what's going on. He's just playing the slot right now. And again, Doug Peterson doesn't really care because I know he's planning for a longer run and he doesn't care about fantasy, but that's kind of how it is. So unless I'm playing like a full KC stack, I don't think I'm going to get to Kirk this week just because he's just not on the field enough.
Yeah, I think honestly the best news for Christian Kirk was Chris Jones signing his contract and coming in because if they're able to shut down that run game of the Jags early,
they'll have to go to 3 wide receivers.
They're going to have to open it up, and that's good news for Kirk.
And then say goodbye to our guy Brenton Strange, the second tight end for the Jaguars. R.I.P. All right, guys. Christian Kirk is the dart in the millie. Okay, let's get down there in the 5K below. You guys said you have someone at 5K. Was it Zay Flowers? Is that what you were referencing?
Yeah, I think Zay Flowers. Yeah,
another guy belongs. Right, there's guys that rookies they just jump in and you're like, okay, they belong here, and he was one of them.
His usage, I think Vinny, you talked about Lamar. I think he is going to be one of the main benefactors of J.K. Dobbins being out because they're going to run more screens with him. They might even start to run him out of the backfield a few. I really, really like Zay Flowers this week and kind of going forward as long as he stays healthy. He played almost every single down. Like he's just out there constantly. He looks good. Like Joey said, there's just some guys that fit right from the get-go. He's one of them. My guy Puka got a massive price jump.
Big thank you for putting him on because, I threw him in 2 lineups pretty late, and those lineups ended up cashing pretty high.
Yeah, he is their, 1B wide receiver. Stafford's looking for him all over the field. He's really good at just running those zone routes where he can just find the open spot, and he's not one of those guys that's going to be the primary wide receiver on a play, but he's going to be the secondary guy, and he's always open. He can catch the ball. So at 4,900 in a massive, passing script, what we think is going to be for the Rams, I think you can get to him, especially in Niner stacks. He's just the easy add in Niner stacks. I do like his other counterpart, Tutu Atwell, because the Niners can blow some coverages, and they just like Tyler Lockett, they have issues with the small, fast guys, and I think they may give up a cheap one to him this week. So
that's who I like more personally. And it's to your point, we've talked about it a million times. The strength of the Niners defense is up the middle, and Puka is a slot guy. who's running a lot of slant routes. That's right into Fred Warner territory and Hufanga and all that. Like, I want the guy that can double move, one of our corners and get over the top. Like, Tutu Atwell's the guy for me this week if I'm doing it.
So $200 cheaper, right? And again, he's one of those guys that can help win you a GPP. He can have the 3 for 130 and a touchdown, right? Because he might catch an 85-yard touchdown. So yeah. I'm with you, Vinny, on that one. I like that quite a bit.
The other guy in that range that I have quite a bit of interest in is this week is Jahan Dotson. We saw Denver. Obviously, they're pretty good with Pat Surtain being able to shut down or a number one. I got to imagine that he's going to be on Scary Terry this week. And we saw what Jacoby Myers did as the number 2 receiver against that Denver defense. 10 catches last week. I think Dotson's in it for a pretty good workload Sunday.
All right. Joe, anybody getting down here into the 4s that you like?
Let's dive into the bin.
Yeah, so dart throw. If Jacoby Myers doesn't play, Hunter Renfrow didn't even get like a target last week because they never even got to him on the progression. Denver was getting a pretty good pass rush, and Jimmy was just getting it to Jacoby real quick. And it worked for them, right? But Hunter Renfrow didn't get targeted. He's getting forgotten about. Hunter Renfrow is still really good. He's healthy. He's going to be Jimmy's kind of safety blanket in this game. If the Bills do get up like you guys think so, that means they're going to have a lot of passing script, a lot of dump offs to Hunter Renfrow underneath. I can see this being a big like PPR game for Renfrow, getting like 7-8 catches underneath, and hopefully he sneaks a touchdown in there. So he could be one of those sneaky guys in a GPP millie.
Vinny, you got anybody down in the dumpster that you like here?
I absolutely do. I talked about him earlier. Josh Downs at 3,400. He's coming in at a solid 1% ownership, and the guy that I like bringing it back with is Tank Dell, also coming in at 1% ownership. So 2 rookies, 2 guys that can burn and get after it. I think Tank Dell had 4 targets last game, and then they just saw Noah Brown, who played ahead of him, just went on the IR. So Tank Dell's going to get more run here. I like that.
It's a good little tidbit.
Cool.
If you guys didn't, I don't know if you guys. I think I tweeted it out or something last week, but the guy, if you're looking for a guy to play that's going to be on the field for the Chiefs, basically every single snap at wide receiver is Justin Watson. He's $3,300. I don't know why he's $3,300. He played 87% of the snaps last week. They took multiple deep shots to him. He is the deep shot guy. He can catch the ball. He can run block. He's going to be on the field. So, like, if you're just looking for a cheap wide receiver, great. If you're looking for a cheap add-on and you're stacking KC, I think that he's a really easy way to do that since Mahomes and Kelsey are going to be expensive. He's a guy that I think you just have to get in your lineups this week at 3,300. I just don't know why he's so cheap. You've got guys in Marcus Valdez-Scantling and other guys on that team. Rashee Rice. I know Rashee Rice caught a touchdown. He only played 34% of the snaps. So if he doesn't catch that touchdown, he's got like 3 points, right? So Justin Watson, he's my guy from down here. I'm going to be playing quite a bit of him this week. And then I also like Michael Wilson for the Cardinals down here. He is their wide receiver too. Didn't really do much last week, but against the Giants this week, and I think that if I think the Giants are going to put some points up, I think, Cardinals going to have to throw the ball a little bit more. I wouldn't mind a dart throw on Michael Wilson, but definitely prefer Justin Watson. None of them are going to be owned, and Watson's a guy who could legit get you like 17 points.
All right. My only guy down here I don't even think it's a dart throw. I think he's a legitimate part of this offense, and it's Josh Reynolds. He had 7 targets, 4 catches for 80 yards against the Chiefs last week. If we think this game's going to be what it's going to be, I mean, this is like the easiest stackable game on the planet, right? Stack the Lions heavy, go with like DK or Kenneth Walker or something on the other side, just a one-off on Seattle, and hopefully that's the guy that gets the touchdowns. But Josh Reynolds is getting play. That guy's on the field all the time. He's got 7 targets. He looked really good the other night. So he's not going to be 3,700 for long.
No, he is not.
Cool.
That's a good call, Joe.
Tight
ends?
I don't think we need to talk about Kelsey, right?
Yeah. That's just, no.
If you can pay it, pay it. All right. Well, I have no one between Kelsey and 3,900 that I'm playing. So I'm going up or I'm going down, baby.
No, honestly, I'm with you. There's nothing like that is that impressive for me. I want to go down at tight end this week.
So I think that I have some interest in Sam Laporta, 3,900.
Yep.
I also have some interest in playing Kyle Pitts at 4,200. I think that if you're telling yourself that they're going to have to pass the ball a little bit, and you want to take a shot, I think he's a guy to take a shot on. I was looking at some of the all 22 today. He was wide fucking open on so many different routes, and Ritter's just not looking at him. So hopefully that will be fixed a little bit. I have some interest in oh God, where is this guy? Luke Musgrave at 3,200. I'm into him.
Whoa. Hold on. Before you start creeping down here, all right, me and Vinny are the ones that won't go below 4K.
Okay, go for it.
What?
Well, Jimmy was up in the 4K range. We said, hey, we're going to be down in the 3K range. And yeah, you just kept going. I was like, wait. As you creeped below the guy.
Who's your guy?
I like Jake Ferguson.
Okay.
He had 7 targets in a game that was an absolute blowout. I think he's going to be a huge part of this offense. You just have to hope for a game where Dak doesn't suck. And the Jets have a great defense. I think Ferguson's going to get a lot more targets. He's going to get a lot of targets again. Again, Ferguson's their tight end 1 at 3,300 in an offense that's supposed to be a big passing offense. You know, I think he's my favorite guy this week. I'm planting my flag.
I like it. Vinny, who are you going to down here?
Yeah, I'm going back to him. I was touting him hard on Monday and just didn't quite get it. But Dalton Kincaid played 80% of the snaps for the Bills at 3,300. I'm going to be playing him a lot because I think he's got like a barely safe floor, 5-7 points. But it's a guy, bold prediction time that I think could really like change the slate and change this game. So it's my favorite down there.
Nice.
I'm with you. I like the Ferguson call. I also like the Kincaid call. Those are going to be 2 of my higher owned guys as well. I'm wondering, like I mentioned him earlier with the Niners, is I wonder if it's going to be a Kittle spike week, but at 5,300, it's just. When you can go to Ferguson for $2,000 less, and somebody that I don't think that the Jets are just going to roll over the Cowboys. I don't care how good the defense looks; they're not going to beat the Jets 40-0, and it's not going to look like that game. I don't care if Zach Wilson's playing quarterback. I don't care if they bring Vinny Testaverde out of retirement to play quarterback. I don't care if they
idea.
I don't care if they pull Mark Sanchez out of the booth to butt fumble again. Like they look.
You see Robert Griffin put himself in the running.
Yeah, so did Kaepernick. Kaepernick's agent called the Jets, and then all of a sudden, the Jets are looking at Kaepernick, and it's like, no, they just answered the phone and then hung up immediately. So, the one guy we didn't really mention that, since you guys are on the quarterback, I'm going to go back to him because this is the official podcast of Irv Smith, sponsored by Irv Smith Jr.
He's got like 1 strike down, dude. 1 strike.
No, I'll keep playing Irv every single week, and I'll go down.
Outlier week, dude.
Outlier week, baby. He got a couple of points last week. No, my guy
he got more points than T. Higgins.
Exactly. So
did you.
Yeah, exactly. We all had a T. Higgins week last week, right? So I'm going back to Irv, especially. I like him in kind of a weird. I don't like playing T. Higgins a whole lot. So my Burrow and Chase stacks, I'll either play Mixon or I'm going to play Irv at 3,200.
All right.
Now what everyone's been waiting for, defense.
Defense? Hell yeah.
So
I think I'm running.
Let's just only talk about like a bargain bin defense.
Yeah, I think I think the Jets. I think I'm running the Jets almost in every offense. I mean, Dak watched all those interceptions happen last week, and he's like, I'm in. It's time.
Jets?
I think Dak throws 3 picks this week. Easy.
I think the Jets may run the ball 55 times, and they're going to
Bingo.
force Dak to make a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Bingo.
In which he
So
will.
again, the Jets have a good coaching staff. Okay, that game plan they had last week was for Aaron Rodgers, and I think Zach Wilson maybe took like 3 snaps all week last week. Right, going to be different this week. I think the Jets are a great option at 2,700. I'm a little bummed that they're 2,700. I was hoping that they were going to be like 23, but since it was on Monday night, I think most of the algorithm was already done and all the pricing was already done for DraftKings. So
yeah.
Well, and I also love that it's an afternoon game. We got the 125 slate here for your defense. With the Jets getting some possible late turnovers in the game against Dak, that could put us across the line.
Yep.
Anybody? I have one other defense that I'm really interested in, but I want to hear what you guys think first.
Vinnie, go.
Nothing really below this, to be totally honest. I mean, no. Nothing.
Okay.
I think
Joe?
the Raiders are going to throttle. I think the Rams are going to get throttled. Yeah.
I might play some Titans. I obviously I love the Chargers offense. I love Herbert. I love all of that. But there's just something about the Titans at home that I just don't think it's,
I mean, whatever. I'll play the Raiders. I'll play anybody. I don't care.
I am going to be playing quite a bit of Detroit at home.
Oh, I thought you were going down low below that.
No, I said, do you have any other defenses that you like?
I don't like going up in the 3Ks unless I'm obsessed with it.
I'm obsessed with the Lions. I think that Aiden Hutchinson is an absolute monster. I think that the Seattle Seahawks, one of their tackles is banged up. The other one might not play. I think that they're just going to get their ass kicked this week. And they might put some points up, but I think that we've got a Geno pick 6 waiting for us. I think that we've got a lot of stuff. At 3,000, it's like the top of what I really like to play, but I think it's just such a good spot that I'm just gonna go for it, right? Because I think that they could be like a 15 to 16 point defense this week. So my 2 defenses are going to be the Lions and the Jets.
Cool. Works for me.
Sweet.
That's it. Bold calls of the week.
Let's do it, baby. Joe.
Yeah, I'm prepared this week. I know what my bold call is. I remember the segment, which last week I did not remember the segment. So
love that.
Yeah, this is going to be a big week. Jared Goff is going to be the highest scoring quarterback in DraftKings this week.
30 plus points.
Highest scoring quarterback. I mean, it could be 22, but he will outscore all the other quarterbacks.
Well, I think it's going to have to be in the 30s to be the highest scoring this week, but I know.
I'm just saying he's going to be the highest. So when it's all said and done, you're going to look back at the highest points, and it's going to be Jared Goff.
All right. Vinny, bold call?
Yeah, I'm trying to do the point calculation on the fly here, but if my math is right, I think Dalton Kincaid is up for a 28-point game here.
Your math?
28?
8 or 9 catches. He hits the 100-yard bonus and a touchdown.
Well, my bold call is going to be Gabe Davis, and he's going 25 plus.
We're dueling.
So I want everyone to know that I was in a texting battle about the Raiders this morning with these guys, and I'm 100% sure they're just fucking trolling the shit out of me right now.
Look, the Raiders may score, and honestly, I'm not confident about the spread because I think the Raiders will score on them. I just think Bills are going to score like 35 points on Sunday. The Raiders can score.
I said it earlier. It's not a reflection at all of who the Bills are playing this week. They could be playing any other mid-pack team. They could be playing, the Bears. They could be playing the Packers. They could be playing the Lions. I just think the Bills are going to go fucking nuts this week. I'm kind of happy because the people calling Josh Allen Jay Cutler, let's just take it easy with that. I love Smoking Jay, but come on, guys.
I love Josh Allen, but it is interesting. He's had 21 interceptions in his last 22 or 23 games or something like that. It is a little alarming.
But again, we're talking about I think this game could be 35 to 28. I think it could be close. Josh Allen may throw 2 pick sixes, but he's gonna score on Sunday. A lot. That's my take on it. So
it's fair.
That's all I got.
That's all you got?
Guys, remember, subscribe, tweet, retweet, call us on the phone, text me. Doesn't matter.
Whoa.
Hit us up. We're going to respond. Don't give up. So, and if you guys want to be involved in the podcast, we need voiceover casting for our intro. We need what's the website, guys? The Cameo. We need ideas. And maybe on Cameo that can help us with our intro, because we're having a real identity crisis over here.
Maybe just a band, live band. Maybe a live band. Just saying.
I am going to Rob Zombie in 9 days. Let's go.
Ooh, he's good. Comment, like, share the podcast, share the YouTube with your friends. Comment down in the chat. On the
let's hear the haters.
Are we doing our 400 subscriber giveaway? My idea.
Not yet.
We will.
Not
we
ready.
will launch.
Or is that the 500 subscriber moment?
No, we'll do that one for 400, Joe. But we'll announce that. Next week. But you guys will definitely want to stick around for that.
It's epic. I think it's one of the most brilliant ideas I've had in my 32 years of life. So it
really is. It really is a great idea.
That's not saying much, but you're gonna want to hear this one.
Top of the charts, motherfucker. Let's go.